welcome to Chef Zone. My name is Joy Goto and I'm the marketing coordinator. Before we get started, we have some housekeeping announcements. Restrooms are outside these doors and to the left. We will be filming this evening's session. And if you folks would like to post on your own social channels, we encourage you to tag at ChefZoneHI. We will be sending a survey to you via email tomorrow, and we would appreciate your feedback. We're really excited for this evening. This is our final session of this series of cooking sessions with Chef Alan Wong. This series features local products you can find here at Chef Zone. Tonight's featured ingredient is fish, a local protein staple. And you'll be able to take home 4-ounce frozen fillets of mahi-mahi that we carry here at Chef Zone that you can prepare at home. Chef Alan Wong is one of the founders of the Hawaii Regional Cuisine Movement, a James Beard Award winner for Best Chef Northwest, and his former restaurant, Alan Wong's Restaurant, has won numerous accolades, including the 10-time winner of Honolulu Magazine's Haliaina Restaurant of the Year. Helping Chef Alan this evening is his right-hand person, Lee Ito. Lee has worked with Chef for more than 20 years. Yes, give her a round of applause. She is amazing. She's awesome. Also, we have 2 culinary students from KCC who are recipients of the Russell J. Hata Scholarship Program, Lily Yamamoto and Lauren Harita, who will also be assisting Chef this evening. We also have Grant Yamada. He's a customer service associate. He used to work at the Pineapple Room. And we also have Brent Yamada. No relation? No? He's a sales specialist here. Tonight, Chef Alan will be preparing French-inspired dishes with his own spin, mahi-mahi a la Doria, and another dish with a la nage, tilapia a la nage, yes.
Yeah, put it on the plate.
And then let's get started. Chef Alan, take it away. Thank you.
That's mahi-mahi, right? Don't say anything, yeah? Good evening, aloha. Okay. If you notice, you don't have any recipes. Okay? I'm going to share with you how I cook. So, see these 5 squares? Okay. Acid. All the different forms of acid. I don't say lemon juice. I don't say vinegar. Okay. You got dozens of kinds of acid. Even wine is acid and shoyu is acid. And if you use chili pepper water, that's acid too. Okay? It doesn't have to be sour to be considered acid. Sodium, not just salt, all different kinds of salt. Soy sauce, all the different soy sauces. Okay? Fish sauces. Bagong, patis, all of that. Okay? Anything sweet, not just sugar. And we go here, the bitters. Okay? Watercress. Okay, when they pass this out to you, do not eat it. Just wait. Okay? Heat. All the spicy things, the chili pepper things. From fresh chilies to your liquid hot sauces to your paste like sambal. Okay? What's missing up here is fats. So, fats. So, here we have grapeseed oil. It's a fat. All the different kinds of oils you have at home are fats. You see the secret to French cooking right here. Okay? Butter. Right? Lard. Those are all fats. So, this is how I cook and this is what I refer to all the time. Make sense? So that if you grasp the idea, you can do this at home too. Okay? Make sense? Okay. Now, what you're going to have in front of you are 2 fishes. Now, this is a blind tasting. Okay? There is no wrong answer. So what I suggest you do, no start yet. Okay, no start yet. Is you take a little bit of the left and a little bit of the right. And then kind of like clean your palate. You don't have to drink water. Okay? In fact, if you're going to clean your palate, warm water is best. Okay? Then you go right, then you go left. Make sense? Okay, so this is the first thing we're going to do tonight. Does everybody have 2 fishes? Okay, so no wrong answer. I'm going to ask you, you like left side or right side better? Simple. Okay, go ahead. By the way, nothing was seasoned. 0 salt, okay? Just a light sear in the oven, that's all. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, we'll go with this table first. How many left side? How many right side? Oh. How many on left side? How many right side? Brother. Left side. Okay. Left side? Right side. Okay. The right side was tilapia. Okay. It's farm-raised tilapia from the North Shore. And the one on the left is mahi-mahi. Okay? Now, if you have a little bit left, try this. Go back and forth and notice the absence of smell in the tilapia. And even though it's fresh, the mahi-mahi, there is a smell. Try. So, a little short story, okay? I grew up in Waipio, Wahiawa, and I grew up eating Tyson chicken thighs, just like a lot of locals did. Okay? Shoyu chicken, huh? All right? Oh, hold on. How many of you like tea? Okay, this is a different one. Okay? This is a turmeric tea. Okay? So you can serve that. So I chose turmeric tea because turmeric is one of the best things you can take in for inflammation. Okay? Has turmeric, has a touch of cinnamon. I wish I had cloves. Lemon and ginger. So lemon, ginger, turmeric are the 3 top things you can take in as a tea. And all it is hot water and the stuff inside now. Okay? This one is this dry powder. Yeah. Okay? So I think it's good you went through the fish tasting first. Okay? And turmeric is an acquired taste. But let me finish my chicken one. Okay. So I'm on the mainland. And we get to eat this free-range organic chicken. And it's wonderful. Yeah? And if you eat it side by side with a regular chicken, what you notice is that the free-range organic chicken, it smells like chicken. There's an absence of smell. And that frozen Tyson chicken, roasted, had the same different smell. Now, all my friends in Wahiawa, they would say, why I gotta pay $20 for that when I can buy it for $5? Okay? What's the big deal? But if you eat them side by side, you can understand there's an absence of this particular smell. There's nothing wrong with the product. But we know what we know because most local people, like me, we grew up eating Tyson chicken. That's what we know. We keep eating it and we don't know any difference until one day you eat that chicken. Maybe today you can change your mind about tilapia. Right? How many ate tilapia before? Who did not? Why did you not?
Our association with the canal.
Hilo, Association Canal.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I ask, did your parents eat tilapia? How you know then? No taste good. Did your grandparents eat tilapia? Probably not. Maybe, right? It has a stigma that it's a bad fish, it's smelly, it's muddy, and comes from Hawaii, right? Okay. And I hope you like think this one is clean. There's an absence of smell. Okay. There's no sauce to it. There's no butter to it. Nothing. Okay. It stands on its own. So the last thing I want to say about this exercise is when I see this tilapia, I don't see tilapia. I see a locally raised product that I can put on the menu so we don't have to tap into the ocean 100%. Okay, some species are being overfished. Okay, with respect to all the fishermen, we need to have alternative sources of fish that are from Hawaii. Tilapia is one. The kampachi is another one. We used to have a lot of moi, but not too much anymore. Yeah, and tilapia, you can just forget about that stigma. Would I buy tilapia from non-Hawaii farms? I'm gonna say not all, because it's actually how it's raised and what's in the water. Yeah, I happen to know the scientist behind this, Ron Weidenbach. I know where this place is. I trust him. He's a scientist, and I know the water. I've been there. Yeah. There are many people trying to grow tilapia. By the way, tilapia is Michelle Obama's favorite fish. So when we went up there to cook for the president and all of Congress, that was one of the dishes. But when you do side-by-side tastings, you get more out of it than just one at a time. So you can compare the different nuances, yeah? And you should do this to children. We have two dishes that I'm going to do for you. The first one, the first two there was a fancy French name, yeah? You must be wondering, what the hell is that? Okay, I did that on purpose because I never do that. I take it and I do something different to it. Okay, so this first one is mahi mai, and it does have cucumbers. But the most important thing about this first one is I call protect the protein. Okay, protect the protein because when you put an egg batter on top of it, when you put breadcrumbs on it, you put panko on it, you're protecting the protein. There are certain fishes like swordfish, like ono, that have very low fat. If you put them on direct heat like a grill or a saute pan, they become tough and dry real quick. But if you protect the protein, okay, I could serve you ono tempura and you wouldn't know that it's ono. Because the tempura batter protected the fish, it steams on the inside, it's not being hit by direct heat. And it comes out really moist. Okay, so today the mai mai is going to be an egg batter. Okay, egg, nori, and green onions. Okay, so this is the most important thing about the first dish. You protect the protein so it stays moist on the inside. Okay, all right. I have cucumbers here, sliced cucumbers. Okay. Now we got this nice Japanese mandolin that you can slice to produce real uniform pieces. Okay, kosher salt. So what I do is I massage the salt inside. Okay. Now the Japanese have a couple of pickles. A quick tsukimono usually refers to salt, and quick tsunomono, which is a pickled, usually referred to vinegar. Okay. So I'm just working the salt in. Now this could be Chinese cabbage. This could be head cabbage. This could be almost a mustard cabbage. Okay. Now because eventually I'm going to be like massaging it. Okay. If I did this right now, it's still kind of hard. What the salt's going to do is make it soft. Because I'm kind of bruising it, it takes in the salt quicker. And so I do not add a lot of salt. I add less salt because it's going to go in. It's almost like I'm bruising the cell structure and now it's surrendering and sucking in the salt. These are Japanese cucumbers. Yeah. Okay. In a traditional tsukimono, they would do something similar where they salt the vegetable, the cucumber, and it's about fermenting it, leaving it out so that it starts to ferment and gets sour. Okay? They make kimchi the same way. They salt their cabbage first. Okay? They get rid of the water. By the way, if you have any questions, just stop me and ask me a question, okay? Mahi mahi, Doria. Okay, what it's going to end up being is mahi mahi with cucumber tsukimono and a gochujang sauce. Okay? And I'll tell you, the fish is going to end up looking like fish jun. Okay? Even though if you go to Korea, you may be hard pressed to find fish jun. No more. Okay? All right? Just like you cannot find teriyaki beef in Japan. Because that's what I had. Well, if you wanted to challenge me, give me the ono, give me the swordfish, give me the hebi, okay? No, no. Not you literally, but okay, because it's about protecting the protein. This could have been any fish, okay. Also, because of the pandemic, a lot of the fishermen they stopped going fishing for onaga, opakapaka, lehi, ehu, okay. We used to have onaga and opakapaka on the menu. So people were not buying the expensive fish. So simply the fishermen stopped. So if I look on all the wholesalers now, guess what they're selling? Mahi mahi, kajiki, nairagi, hebi, ono, mancham. Okay? And it's not cheap anymore. Okay? So I'm kind of showing you a way of if you gotta buy that fish, do them this way. Okay? You'll enjoy it better than if you grill it. Hibachi, Okay, this is straight eggs, whipped up. Okay, can you see it? Now, I took a slice of mai mai, I seasoned it with a little salt, then I dredged it in flour. Okay, and in the egg is nori or green onion. You can put nothing if you'd like. Okay, sesame oil, chili flakes, Chinese parsley. Okay, you can put hot sauce, Tabasco, gochujang sauce, anything you like inside here. Okay? So, I know you cannot see this one. Yeah. But you have to think of this as a pancake griddle. I've been using avocado oil. Okay, here's another trick. Can you see that? Now, the reason why you're protecting the protein is because these eggs, they cook like this. If you have the right heat on the pancake griddle, it gets brown. It gets brown, and then you take them off, right? Then when you get all of them brown, depends how big your family you get, stick them in the oven. They cook all at the same time. Okay? Now, I got it brown. It cooks as fast as an omelet would, but the inside is still raw. Okay? So, depending on what kind of fish you're dealing with, you had one smelling kind of thing so far. So I have a few tricks on what I call de-stinking the fish. Sound gross, huh? Okay. I should say there are ways to make the fish not smell as fishy. Okay. You buy it from the store, it's fresh, but you open the pack and you go like, you smell a little bit. Okay. So the first easy one, lemon juice. Second one, sake. Okay. Third one, white wine. It's a wash. You put them all in a bowl, you squeeze them on top, you do like this, and you rinse them. Okay? If not rinse them, just pat them dry. Why do I use avocado oil? Just like the turmeric tea, there's a part of me that's going more towards wellness. Okay? If you go look up avocado oil, it's very good for you. Okay? There are some oils better than other oils. That's basically that. And if most local people, we're not always into the extra virgin olive oil. It's just too strong. It's too strong for the Asian flavors that I cook with. Okay. I also have grapeseed oil. Okay. Both sold in the specialty store here. Okay. Lauren is still squeezing the cucumbers. I added a little more salt. You can always add salt. You cannot take away. Okay. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate this because this is so easy and not even funny. Okay. This is my gochujang sauce. Now, besides these squares, balancing this, first of all, I reduced cooking down to its most simplest thing. It's how much salt you put on your food. That's the most simple. After that is balance, balancing these things. Okay? Now, I like to cook in ratios. This is 1 to 1 to 1. Okay? This is 1 gochujang paste, the bottle, 1 sugar, 1 rice vinegar. Okay? Now, rice vinegar is about 4.3, 4.5 acidity. When you go home, look at your bottle of vinegar. Apple cider, white wine vinegar, there's a number. That's the acidity level. So if you think the recipe calls for vinegar and you take white wine vinegar and it's really rice vinegar because you ran out, one is 4.3, one is 7. Okay, you got to use less. In this ratio, it's 1 to 1 to 1 by measure. Okay, 1 cup of this, 1 cup of that, 1 cup of that. That's a good point. It could be 100 grams, 100 grams, 100 grams. You got to weigh them. Okay, in the kitchen, sometimes the cooks don't like to do that. It's easier just to take a cup measure and boom, 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 3. Okay, now what I also talk about variables. Okay, the variable in here is pretty much white sugar is constant. Rice vinegar, store-bought, is constant. The variable is what brand gochujang you buy. Okay, gochujang is made with mochi rice and it's sweet on its own. It has chili, so it's spicy. But if you line up 3 gochujang paste, they all taste different. Huh? Me? I like Park's brand. Park's brand. Gochujang sauce. I also like their kimchi sauce too. It's my favorite. Okay? So, some, they might not be hot enough. Some might be sweet. So now what's happening here is the sugar and vinegar, you're balancing that. Sweet and acid, right? Now sweet and heat work together. If you wanna have something sweet, okay, and have it balanced, you up the heat. If something is too sweet and there's some sweet in there, up the sweet, the balance. They cancel each other out. Okay? So when you get something like Chinese hot sour soup, that's different. Okay, it's hot, sour. They add a little sweet too, but not too much sweet. Okay? So that's why no need to demo this. It's so easy, not funny, eh? Okay? So here we go, okay? We got the fish, we got the salty cucumbers, we got something spicy and slightly sweet sour. Okay? Think it'll work there? Okay. So can you see this how it has kind of melted? This is the quick tsukimono. Okay? Salt. Okay, so very simply, that's the first dish. Okay? So I hope you find the fish moist on the inside. This is about protect the protein. Okay? Because we went with the egg versus panko or anything else, I went with it, reminds me of Jun. So I did the gochujang sauce, an easy one. Okay? And the kimchi is not spicy, it's just salted. Now, the next dish can be easy and can be complicated. Okay? Because nage simply means to swim, literally. So if you get a dish, you order something a la nage, it usually refers to a broth as the sauce or something liquid versus something thick. Okay? A la nage, to swim. So you're in a broth. Okay? Or you're in something close to a broth, slightly thicker than a broth. Okay? Now, in this particular case, if you like them easy, you can use SNS package and make your own saimin broth. Okay? So I made one small pot with just water and hondashi. Okay? You all get that at home. Now the other one, I made my own. Okay? And so I'm going to use the one I made to make this nage. Okay? With tilapia. How are we doing? Yeah? Moist? In the egg, I didn't even put salt in the egg itself. Okay? So in working in the French restaurant, we did something similar with a thin piece of salmon, and in the batter, a ton of Parmesan cheese. So it kind of melts, yeah? But not so much that it took over the salmon. So what you're eating, this here is kuzu. Okay? This is a starch similar to rice flour, okay, or cornstarch. It does the same thing. The European equivalent would be arrowroot. Okay? They either do Kuzu or Kudzu, kuzu. Now, if you ever went to a Chinese restaurant, you know that gravy. By the time you finish dinner, it's all water, yeah? Okay, they use cornstarch. It doesn't last long. If you go to a Japanese restaurant and you see kuzu an or ankake, that thick sauce, they're using this. Okay? It takes a long time before this falls apart. This is a stronger starch. So while you are eating there, I have my hondashi here. I'm going to do two versions. One is with the kuzu. I'm going to add that to this. Okay? And if this sauce is intimidating for you at home, I suggest you do this. And if you don't have this, just use cornstarch. Almost every house has cornstarch, huh? Okay, now, if I had another page here, it would be called liquid. Because you can do this with water. You can do this with canned chicken broth. You can do this with any kind of liquid you have. You can use leftover miso soup if you like. Okay? So this hondashi water, I'm just going to add a little bit of kuzu. Okay? Really little bit. Now, Does everybody know what a beurre blanc is, a butter sauce? The original version never had cream, heavy cream. But now a lot of cooks cheat, they add heavy cream to it. Heavy cream is a stabilizer. This kuzu is a stabilizer. Okay? Stabilizer for what? So it doesn't break. Because when you overheat butter, it will separate. Okay? So that's done. Cool. This is too high tech for me. Okay, if you can see, it is hondashi, very lightly thickened. I mean, so light, you can hardly tell. Okay? Now, I'm going to do this to start to show you how easy it can be. Secret to French cooking. Okay? It's about 1 tablespoon butter. Okay? Oh yeah, I'm going to show you the easy way and the more difficult way. Okay? Now, this is halfway there. Okay? Now, butter is a fat. Okay? A compound butter is simply butter and one thing. Garlic butter is a compound butter. Lemon butter is lemon and butter. It's a compound butter. Lemon garlic butter is a compound butter. Miso butter is miso butter, compound butter. Okay? So, first time I put butter. If I add more butter to this, it's done. Okay? To your fish dish. But we made a compound butter. This is a homemade truffle butter. Okay? So you can put as much or as little as you want. So you can make this at home too. Okay, they sell this here. This is a truffle mushroom paste. So I added some Parmesan cheese, and the secret ingredient is shoyu. Okay? Huh? Everything go good with shoyu. Okay? But instead of a truffle butter, I could have just put shoyu butter. Shoyu Parmesan butter. Okay? Now, everybody's big word today is umami. Right? Chasing umami. You call everything umami. Right? Unctuous. So, the glutamates, of which is part of monosodium glutamates, exist in foods naturally. All your cured meats like ham, prosciutto ham, contain glutamates. I didn't say monosodium glutamate, I said glutamates. Okay? Tomato products, tomato paste. Mushrooms contain glutamates, especially dried shiitake mushrooms. Okay? So if you want to chase umami, chase your glutamates food. Anchovies, fish sauce, glutamates. Cheese, all your cheese is glutamates. Okay? Can be that easy. Shoyu, glutamates. So what I did was made a glutamate butter. Okay? And you just use whatever you get at home. Me, if I'm at home and I'm cooking, no more something, I don't cry, just make something. Maybe come up with something better. Just try. Okay? But if you understand the concept, right? So this is slightly thicker than here. You can see it's slightly thicker than broth. Now, if I stick a piece of fish inside this broth, cook it, and I add a garnish, I have whatever fish, alanage. Okay, the alanage can be anything. It's just, this happens to be a uh, truffle butternut. Okay, now, believe it or not, this is the easy way. Remember now, this is stabilized because of the kuzu, eh? Okay, now I'm going to do this other way. Okay, yeah. Okay, 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to do this two ways. Secret to French cooking. Okay. Can you see this? This is a fillet of tilapia. I have my homemade ramen broth in it. I have a tablespoon of butter. Okay. Now, I'm going to have two things going on because this pan no cook over here. I got to go over here. Okay. Lily, come watch this. Give me another pan to cover this. Okay, I have an empty pot. I have my homemade Simon broth. Okay. You know, I'm calling this Simon broth on purpose. To me, Simon is more local. And Simon is not Simon without the kamaboko and spam. Okay. This is getting hot. And this is the sauce that you're actually going to taste. Okay. Now, oh, that's unique. Okay, let's go this way. Upside down, flip them. Yep. So in this pan, I have raw fish. I have a liquid to create steam. I have a little bit of butter. Okay. Now I'm gonna. The French term is fancy, monter au beurre, mount with butter. Okay. So when you mount with butter, basically you're gonna add a little bit of butter, so it thickens the liquid that you have. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So in this one, the fish is in there, and when the fish cooks, if you cook it that way, the fish juice is released into the sauce. Okay? Now, a favorite of mine is to take the opaka paka and put like pork hash on top and steam that. So you get all that pork juices and whatever you put in your pork hash and the fish, and it makes a beautiful sauce. High tech, man. Oh, you had to ask, huh? Okay. So I start with water. Now, when you add the kombu and you just leave it alone, that's kombu dashi. When you go further, you add the katsuobushi, you're making dashi. Okay? Now, everybody can do that. That's Japanese dashi. Now, locals, we add dried shrimp. Okay? Threw some of that inside. Now, what I like to do is take pork and chicken and roast them. And I just stick that inside. Okay? Oh. Focus. Hold on. So roast chicken, roast pork. Okay? I saw some ham. I put some ham inside. Okay? Right below me, get prosciutto. I put one slice prosciutto inside. Okay? I'm chasing glutamates again. Okay? So I'll save some so you can try it later on. Okay? So dashi, roast pork, chicken, ham, okay, dried shrimp. Okay? And every time I do this, every time different. And it's basically based upon what I got in the refrigerator. Okay. You basically can just use like the kombu, katsuobushi, dried shrimp, and you got the base already. Okay. I like to add the meats because it gives it more body. Okay. Nowadays, tonkotsu is popular, right? That white one, the very rich pork broth. Okay. And what's interesting is the different parts of Japan you go, you're gonna have different Thai styles of ramen broth. How are we doing? What's that? Oh, okay. Let's bring this to a steam. Bring that to a full boil. Okay, leave that fire open. Okay. So the fish has cooked here. It needs a little bit more broth. Okay. And I'm gonna mount it with some butter. Okay. Okay, I need that spot. So can you see this? The fish with its juices. See how fluid that sauce is? On the side, there will be maitake mushrooms. Okay. Maitake, if you look it up, is very healthy for you. In fact, one tea is simply maitake mushrooms and hot water, maitake tea. Okay, garnish with the pretties. The mushrooms, maitake mushrooms, I do most of my cutting with my hand. So I break them in half and the cut surface little oil and salt on the griddle, brown. Okay, then I pick that up. When it's cool, I break it into like pieces, and this is lightly steamed in that ramen broth. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and eat. One of the things that I always did was I told the cooks, you know, if you never worked in a French restaurant, you never went to France, why are you doing that for? Why you want to do that? Okay, whether you Filipino, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Okinawan, Hawaiian, okay, cook what you know. Cook from your heritage. So this one I'm really proud of because what's more local than Saimin, right? When you say ramen, that connotates Japanese, but Saimin is very local. Okay, so I made something out of the idea of Saimin and incorporated a French technique of mounting this with a butter, a compound butter. Okay, so just slight review on this one. To make it simple, you can cook the fish on the side, and the sauce is simply a liquid. Okay, can be as simple as hondashi, SNS samin packet, and a butter. Can be as simple as shoyu butter. Okay, can be more complicated, like stuff inside. Okay, can have shoyu, parmesan cheese. These are all glutamate foods. Okay, don't add too much cheese, just a little bit. Okay, yes.
Does it make a difference? Like you have to make the butter compound and mix the shoyu in first before you put it in the broth? Put the shoyu in the butter.
I would take like a stick of butter and let it come to room temperature overnight. Okay, so it's soft. And like I hate spreading butter on toast and the butter is hard. So soft. Then you add your shoyu, mix them up, right? And you add a little bit, whatever else you like, add to that. Okay. It's like steak. Before you cook them, take them out of the fridge for 1 or 2 hours. Let it come to room temperature. Okay. It's not going to spoil because you're going to cook it in a certain amount of time. So it's actually better eating when you do that too. You shorten the cooking time, yeah?
What about like egg batter? Does that make a difference temperature? And what you did with the first fish? I don't know.
The egg batter.
Yeah, eggs and cold. Temperature.
What you want to be mindful is the egg should be refrigerated. Too long out, and yeah, not too good, yeah. Okay. How was that nori in the egg batter? Green onion? So everybody know what ao nori is? Ao nori. Aonori. Basically, it's like all crushed up nori, and you buy them in the bag. Okay. This afternoon, I was cutting with a scissors like that. Okay, trying to make this thing. Okay, so now these are the two dishes that I'm supposed to show you. Okay. So now I get a few extra things for you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you how I learned ceviche in Peru. Okay, with the hamachi that you find here. Okay, so this is hamachi, and I already cut it thin already. But I took an extra step. This is called kombu jime. Okay, you can see? Okay, so I took a piece of kombu, I sprinkled it, I just made it wet with a little bit of sake. Little bit wet. I put the fish on here, and I covered it, okay? And I stuck it in 24 hours. And when I took it off, it's all sticky. Okay? Kombu is naturally sticky. So what I'm doing is, the American word would be wicking. Okay, so if you ever bought a golf shirt and it says wicking, it absorbs the moisture from your body. This is taking moisture from the fish. So when you're taking moisture from the fish, the protein is changing. You know, like miso yaki butterfish. It goes through this miso marination for at least 3-4 days. It's wicking. It's taking the moisture from the fish. It's altering the protein, altering the muscle structure of the fish. Miso yaki butterfish is firm. The water came out. If it wasn't firm, it's not miso yaki butterfish. It's just codfish with sauce. Okay? So this is what kombu does. And it imparts a flavor. If you're going to serve sashimi, try this. Of course, it depends on how thick you cut the fish. Okay? I have marinated ahi for 6 days. So if you cut it this thin, this is overnight, I can see that it's different than yesterday. Okay? This is komujime. Okay, I leave that here. It's fucking not on, eh? Okay. Alright. So I grew up not liking ceviche because the ceviche was always overcooked, over marinated for me. So I didn't know about there's different kinds of ceviche all over the world. Okay, I'm gonna add salt first. And I always salt the fish even when I'm making poke. Anything raw, I always salt, okay? And I salt ahead of time, and I want it to melt onto the fish. Now because this is kombu jime, I'm not gonna add the full amount of salt. This is kosher salt. It's not Morton's table salt, so it's gonna take a little while to release. It's a little bigger crystal than Morton's table salt. Okay? I can always add more, I cannot take away. Alright? So what happened in Peru is the Chinese and the Japanese came. So what happens when the Japanese come and their national dish is ceviche? They start messing with it, adding like ginger and soy sauce and whatnot. Okay? And they start serving it sashimi, and their marination is less than a minute. It is still sashimi with a washing of lime juice. Okay? When you eat it, it eats like sashimi. And the reason why I didn't like it was because it was fully cooked, it was hard, it was rubbery. But I get it now. If you live in poor conditions and no refrigeration, you want to marinate this fully because You want to kill everything. Okay? But we have great fish here. You can do this technique and still call it ceviche. Okay, now what makes Peruvian ceviche a Peruvian ceviche is the Peruvian limes. It's the Peruvian chilies. It's the Peruvian red onions. They're different. Okay? So this is freshly squeezed lime juice. Okay? Can always add more. Now they add a fish stock. Okay? This is my fish stock, which is the Hondashiwara. Okay? Now, if you see on the menu AJI, you pronounce it ahi, like the fish ahi. And what that means in Peru, in South America, is chili. So if you see aji amarillo, amarillo literally means yellow. It's a yellow chili. Aji rocoto, it's a red chili. Okay? This is aji chef zone. I think this is a Thai chili. Okay? That's really hot. Okay? Time me. How many seconds does Bugger get lime juice? Okay? So time me.
Are you using Peruvian limes or just regular limes?
This is chef's own limes. Okay. When working with cilantro, to me, the stems have more flavor than the leaves. Okay? So I like to add that in here. I'm cutting it about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Okay? Because this is what you're going to bite on. This is the cilantro. Okay? I do have some leaves. Please open that, please. It's a coarse chop. Okay? Now, besides salt, this is it. How many seconds was that? In the lime juice? Not white yet, huh? Maybe a little bit, huh? Okay. So it might need more. More lime juice. More fish stock. And more chilies. Okay. While we at it, I'm gonna add a little bit green onion. A lot of times when I do something and somebody asks me, oh, what made you do that? And I tell them, because it was there. Okay? Do me a favor, sprinkle some salt for me. Salt. Okay. I asked her to put the salt because my hands are wet. Okay, so now, I don't know if you can see this, but on the bottom of the bowl is this liquid. Okay, now the juices from the fish is going in, the lime juice is getting along with the fish, and the fish stock is coming along for the ride. Okay, they call this leche de tigre. Okay, leche is milk, tiger's milk. Okay, so now, leche de tigre, tigre, tiger, tiger's milk. If you collect this, this is the best for hangover the next day. Okay, now, what happens if, Greg, can you take this away, this board? Please, thank you. Can you lay the plates out here? Lay the plates out here. Lauren, can you take this, please?
Two got more than one, yeah.
Take this.
You want it vertical?
No. So, okay, this is a granate. This is like shave ice, but it's coarse. Okay, Lily, you want to scrape this up a little bit. So what I did was I blended a red onion, these same chilies, lime juice, a little salt, and cilantro. I came up with this purple liquid. We put them in a pan, we froze it, and every once in a while, Lily would go shave it with a fork. Okay? Now, what I'm trying to get at is this liquid here is leche de tigre. I can make this leche de tigre. I can make passion fruit leche de tigre, coconut, ume, okay? By blending all these ingredients. The only thing it would not have, well, I can add the fish stock. So I can make something and add the sauce. Okay? So, Lily, you want to get your sweet potatoes out? Usually the garnish is sweet potatoes and corn, choclos. Okay? The sweet potato is there because when you get that sting from the chili, sweet potato is there to like kind of mute that. Same with the choclos. Choclos are very big pieces of corn. Okay? Garnish with the sweet potato, please. Somebody. Okay. And then chips on the side. Okay, can you see what I just did? Okay, I took slices of hamachi and I rolled it up. So this is what I was trying to tell you, okay? Then I poured the leche de tigre on the plate. This fish has not been marinated in that. Okay? So now, in Peru, when you cut sashimi and lay it flat on the plate, the fancy word is tiradito. Okay? Tiradito is like sashimi laying flat. And it's not marinated, it has a sauce. Ceviche can be sashimi cut or chunks. How thick you cut it is how fast everything goes in and how much sticks on it. If it was thicker, you're getting meatier fish. You're getting less of everything else. Now, if you like that, that's okay. That's like a chunk. Okay? This one, I roll up the fish, it has a sweet potato on it, and I poured the juices of leche de tigre on top of this. Okay? Now, this is kind of like my style. Are we ready to go? Okay. I add this, okay? It can be a different flavor each time, but I add this to poke. I add this to ceviche because it's frozen. It keeps everything cold, and this is an added heat element. Okay? Snow. Okay, this should go out now. Serve it. Go, serve it. I'll answer that in a minute, okay? Yes. You see how much I put on top? Okay, give them. Okay, what was your question? Huh? Okay, blender. About 2 cups water. 1 round onion. Okay, about quarter bunch cilantro. A good handful of red chili peppers. Salt. Lime juice, maybe a quarter cup. Blended it. Make sure it tasted good. Okay, then I froze it in a pan flat so it freezes quicker versus something deeper, yeah? Okay? See this? My little trick. That's brandy and Pernod burning off the alcohol. I need to get in here. When it's 2 minutes, take it out of the oven. Fish. tasting for salt elements, and I don't like any one particular thing to stick out. So in this ceviche dish, we're talking acid, right? We're talking heat. Okay, and that's pretty much what we are doing. So now, how much lime juice? Should be fresh lime juice. That's personal preference. The chilies, jalapenos, serranos, Hawaiian chilies, Thai chilies, personal preference. Okay? Salt the protein, the fish, before you start anything. And everything is all last minute. You can serve this with any kind of chips you want. You can serve this with like corn on the cob, it works. And I hope you appreciated that the fish wasn't really cured. It was still sashimi underneath, yeah? Okay. So you got two more dishes, and they're gonna come out really fast. Okay, the first dish is the butterfish that you buy from here. This is not cured. No salt, no miso. You're gonna get it like codfish.
Is it fresh or frozen?
This is in the frozen area. Okay, and you're gonna get this with a shrimp, and you take the heads of the shrimp, you boil it, and you make a sauce out of it. And that's what you're getting with this butterfish. Okay. The second dish is the last dish, and I'm calling that seafood hot pot. Okay. Now, Lee made the broth. There's shrimp in it, scallops in it, clams in it, and fish in it. Mahi mahi. Okay. Lee, shrimpos. Thank you. About how long, Lily? How much? 2 minutes. Turn them over. Inside. Okay. Now put the scallops inside the thing, but we're not gonna put them in yet. You get the fish in one.
Get the fish.
Okay, make half fish. And put the fish inside. Okay, the clammers,
So you guys want to put it
put them in the same fish one. Both.
all of it?
Yep,
Where is the fish one? I can't see.
right there. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Is that ready? Okay. Yeah. There. All right, let's put the fish in the bowl. Anybody ever heard of the poor man's Parmesan cheese? It's like breadcrumbs cooked and a little garlic until the breadcrumbs get crispy. Okay, so that's the poor man's Parmesan cheese in Italy. Imagine you got the shrimp, and I made a sauce out of the head, and finished it with brandy and Pernod. Yep,
Wow.
I made a sauce out of the shrimp heads. So in the classical European cooking or French cooking, this would be sauce American, American sauce. So imagine you bought one lobster, you use the meat, you take the head, you make a sauce. That's basically what I did, except this is shrimp. Okay? A lobster bisque? Any questions so far? This is cod, sable fish. Okay, not marinated. Okay, you guys want to know how to make this? Okay, so now it's in France they call this soupe de poisson, fish soup. Okay, I tell you how they really make it. They take whole fish, the head, scud and scales, bones, guts. They throw them in the pot, fill them with water, put vegetables. They boil them. That's how they make them. Okay, then they take a burr mixer, 10 times this big. They do the whole thing, the guts, the scales, the bones, the head. Okay, this is a good one for mempachi, a veil, rock cod, if you go diving. Okay, guts, everything. After they blend them, they strain them 2 times. And if you the guy got to strain them, that means you're at the bottom of the ladder. Okay, you get dirty and stink. Okay, they strain that. Now you have this fish soup. Then it's like miso soup. It's what you do with the miso soup. It's what you do with the fish soup that makes yours different from hers. Okay, now a lot of my de-stinking methods work. The sake, the ginger, the lemongrass, they all distract from that smell. Okay, now here's the easy way. You take fish scraps, you saute it with some leeks, onion, celery. I put fennel. I put fennel and leeks, okay? Saute them. Then you add either water or you add a stock. A stock. Could be fish stock. If you like, go add a can of chicken broth, add a can of clam juice. Then you take one of these gizmos, and if you don't have one of these, throw them in your blender. Okay? You blitz it really thick, puree. Okay? Then you gotta strain them at least 1 time. You don't have to, it'll be thick. Okay? And if you're okay with thick, you never have bones, never have scales, it's just honest to goodness fish. Okay? There's some tomato product in there. Then I finish with brandy and Pernod. There's some cream in there, heavy cream. Okay? Now you can just pour the cream inside. My trick, I reduce the cream on the side. I reduce it down to half before I add it. It creates this nuttiness. Okay? And there you have fish soup, the French way. Okay? So, I hope you enjoyed tonight. I'll be around for any more questions, but thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for coming again. Okay? Hope to see you again.